What up, what up, what up? It's your boy D back at you with another video, and today we are doing something very different. Today we are going over Queen of the Ring. This is my movie review of what I thought about the film that recently just has been sent to streaming services, Amazon Prime, Apple TV. If you would like to watch the movie, I just watched it and I want to give you my honest opinion on the film. Film is about the life of Mildred Burke, pioneer pro wrestler for women's wrestling. This role is starring Bett Rickards, which is most people know her from Felicity Smoke from Arrow. That's where I've known her from. Deborah and Woll is also in this movie, and she's from Daredevil as Karen, and that's the best Karen of all time if you ask me. Toni Storm from AEW is in this film. Francesca Eastwood, who is playing the role of Mayor Mae Young. Jim Cornette is in this film as well. Gavin Casalegno, he is from the show The Summer I've Turned Pretty. So there are a lot of credible known actors. Kelli Berglund's in this show from Heels. I love me some Kelli Berglund, but I digress. Naomi's in this movie. Kamille has probably the biggest role for women in this movie, and she plays June Byers, who was Mildred Burke's arch rival. So how I feel about this movie, I thought this movie was really good. And more importantly than anything, if I'm being honest, I thought this movie was genuinely important for the history of women's wrestling. I think this movie would do a really good job at getting women involved in wrestling and liking wrestling. I think they do tell a very solid story. I thought Josh Lucas, he also was in the movie Glory Road. I thought he did a very good job as Billy Wolfe. Because there are times when I'm watching this movie, and as somebody who didn't really know this story, there were times I really wanted to smack the shit out of Billy Wolfe. I'm like, bro, somebody needs to smack the fire out of this man. Because the things he was doing to Mildred Burke were inhumane. The way they had him, how he kind of like used June Byers to get with his son so her son would leave him alone. Insane. And then you have like the son of Billy falling in love with Mildred and wanting the blessing. I really need to know, did that really happen? Was that really a thing? Because that's weird as hell. But I digress. Let me know in the comments if that's real, because that was wild to me. But also, I think the coolest thing about Mildred's story is how she was a waitress and she wanted to wrestle. I like how she was wrestling men. She was wrestling at carnivals to get her start. And I like how she just had a vision. She had a dream and she just went for it. And she worked her ass off. She sacrificed everything to be in the business. And she became a household name in this business. I know Billy Wolfe had some very dark things to do with this movie. Very dark vices, I would say. A lot of domestic abuse in this movie. A lot of that. But you can argue that he's one of the people who changed women's wrestling and integrating women's wrestling. And I think, and for that, at least for that part, I would definitely have to appreciate him for that, because of showing because black women got their shine. They got to get theirs. Ethel Johnson, Babs Wingo. Like, I think that's beyond important. And I really felt that through this film. I thought this film was really good. I like Jack Pfefer, who I've never heard of. I did not know. Maybe TikTok or the audience of YouTube, somebody could let me know if this is true. Is Jack Pfefer the one who really revolutionized wrestling and bringing that entertainment, Broadway style into wrestling? Is he truly the real reason why this is called sports entertainment? Because that's cool as fuck. And it's interesting to me because if you really think about it, Gorgeous George is really the first sports entertainer, right? Like, he's truly the sports entertainer. I know Ric Flair got a lot of his style from Gorgeous George. I know who Gorgeous George is. And so, like, did all these ideas come from Jack Pfefer? And that's interesting to me. And like, I have a lot of questions, especially for like my pro wrestling people who have lived and maybe even lived in this time, or are maybe better historians than I am. I got a lot of questions. One of my questions is, I know Mr. McMahon, Vince McMahon Sr. was in this movie in like a small scene, where was he in this? What was his part in the role of this? If somebody can help me like more understand what was the business of professional wrestling in the 30s, I think I would definitely like to know that for sure. And like, I loved this story. I really did like it. And I really loved seeing a young version of Mae Young, because like my version of Mae Young and what Mae Young really is, and like in this movie's version of Mae Young, were two completely different people. My Mae Young was giving birth to a hand with Mark Henry, getting powerbombed by the Dudley Boys through tables. Mae Young was a badass. But like, I do know that Mae Young was an absolute legend, WWE Hall of Famer. Mildred Burke is a WWE Hall of Famer. June Byers. Now, I'm not gonna lie. One of my favorite parts of this movie was when Mildred punched June in the fucking nose. I got hype. I loved every minute of that. She just snuffed her ass. Bink! I was like, ooh! I love that. I think now for the negatives, the only real negatives about the film I really have is it jumped in time very fast, in my opinion. I felt like there were some times where you got timestamps of where we were, but then there was times where you just blink and it was like you're in the next spot. You're like, God damn, what just happened? Like, for example, Mildred's son, he grew so goddamn fast throughout this movie. All of a sudden you blink twice and he's a teenager. And you're like, wait a minute. And like, I feel like with that, there wasn't a lot of explanation for why we jumped so much time, what happened in between there, because now I got questions of what happened in between when she actually fought June for the title, and how did that actually go down versus the movie version. It left me with a lot of questions, but it's not like it left me with a lot of bad questions. It made me want to research into Mildred Burke, and the start of women's professional wrestling even more. So I do definitely believe it was important. And I did read something. I did read that the roles of Clara Mortensen and I believe June Byers, I believe it was those two roles. I did hear that these were supposed to be Charlotte Flair and Liv Morgan. That's interesting. Very interesting. But WWE pulled out of it last minute. And oh boy, I got some questions about that. Do I think for the role of Clara Mortensen, do I think Liv could have made a better Clara Mortensen? No. When you look at this generation of wrestling, Toni Storm was the perfect person for this. If anything, I feel like I don't know Clara Mortensen too well to know her full story. And if she was a champion, if she was a pioneer, I would love to see a story of Clara Mortensen and then have Toni Storm play her. Because I feel like Toni Storm was doing a great job. She looked the part. You just didn't get to really see her act. Obviously, the in-ring work was fine. Obviously. You could tell, obviously, the professional wrestlers working in the ring and then just Deborah and Woll. You see what I'm saying? But you can tell they all worked hard in this film. But I have to admit that I feel like the only thing that hurt this film more than anything, honestly, was probably the promotion of this film. Damaris Lewis, who played Babs Wingo, she did that whole "it's fake, basically, it's a work" interview at the AEW pay-per-view. I believe it was Full Gear. Legacy. It was something like Dynasty. Sorry, don't quote me on that. But I feel like that hurt it a little bit, and I just think that WWE is a fucking machine, bro. There's no doubt about it. WWE is the machine when it comes to professional wrestling. So I feel like the promotion of this movie would have been astronomical if WWE was more involved. But I do believe that Toni Storm did a very great job. I do believe, even Kamille did a very great job. Kamille looks the part. She looks dominant. Do I think Charlotte Flair could have played a better June Byers? I don't know. That's up for debate. And the way the internet hates Charlotte Flair, people are probably going to be in there going crazy. But do I think this movie would have been better promoted in a better spot if WWE was involved? If they let WWE superstars in this, I definitely would believe so. Because if this movie was shot in 2023, then I'm most likely betting that the reason Naomi was involved was probably because she probably didn't come back to WWE yet, because that would make sense. I just think, like, and I don't want to make sure that this doesn't sound like I'm hating on AEW at all, because I'm really not. It's just the fact that it's the fucking machine. It's the biggest wrestling company in the world. And having their promotion in this match, having some of their stars on WWE television, having Emily Rickards, Deborah and Woll, Francesca Eastwood, Kelli Berglund, Josh Lucas, any of these stars in the crowd at a WWE event is a lot different than when they're at an event. I think we can all agree on that. I think we all would agree if WWE was in on the promotion of this movie would have been bigger. I think so, because I really do like this movie. I genuinely did like this movie. I just think it lacked really bad in promotion. And one of the reasons why, it's like, bro, in my area, I live in Albany, New York, okay? I'm a New Yorker, baby. This movie was in theaters for 1 week. That's why it took me so damn long to watch this movie. I wanted to go to the theater to see it. I waited 1 week because I was busy, I had things to do. And literally the next week, I looked up tickets and they were gone. They literally took the movie out of the theaters. So, like, I had to wait this long to watch the movie. And, like, I liked it. I enjoyed it. Was it better than The Iron Claw? No. But that's just a whole different story. And I just feel like this movie would be bigger if somehow WWE was involved. I don't care if they're background characters. I don't care if they're just financing the shit. It would be a bigger movie. Iron Claw was beautiful. Iron Claw was amazing. If WWE promoted the Iron Claw, it'd be a big difference. A huge difference. And, like, I kind of wish that even with these AEW stars in there, which I think they did a great job, I still wish that for once pro wrestling could have came together to shine light on all of professional wrestling. I think that would have been a beautiful moment to see. Will that ever happen? No. Probably because WWE is petty as shit, and I understand. I get it. But I'm just talking about more of the promotion of this movie versus, like, the actual movie. Because I think if this movie's goal, which I think it is, the goal was to learn about the history of women's wrestling, or the want to learn about the history of women's wrestling and how we got to where women's wrestling is today, I definitely believe it accomplished its job. It's very interesting to me. I really enjoyed this movie. I wonder if you guys did. And I really hope that you got out of this movie, not only did I learn about women's wrestling, I hope you guys did too. And I hope you guys do what I'm going to do, is learn more about women's history. So if you guys have anything relevant to this movie about Mildred Burke that was not in this film, oh dear God, please let me know in the comments, because I definitely would love to learn more. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for watching. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Please like, comment, and subscribe. It has been your boy D, Forever Gang, and until forever finds you.